Alrighty, welcome back to the boys of 161st Street. So the regular season is over. Before we get into that, it's episode 169. Nice. Today you got a full house. It's Luke, Chandler, Damon, and Murph coming in hot. That joke landed. But before we got on the air, there's a few jokes that did not land. So I'm happy to score one for Luke there. But the regular season is over, and we got an absolutely loaded show for you today. At the back end of this show, you guys might remember him if you listened to earlier episodes this year when we did the Action Network episodes. BJ, who is a analytics guy, he knows so much about betting and numbers, and he's a Red Sox fan, so we had him to come on to talk about just a Red Sox preview, and it was awesome. That's going to be in the back half of the show. In the front half of the show, you got just we have so much to talk about. I was bored at work today, truth be told, to all the listeners out there, and I was just typing out things that happened this year, and then I ended up going a little nuts. And you know what? I kept going a little further down the road because for those of you that are listening to this show for the first time this season, because you only watch playoff baseball and you need a little recap, here's a little bit of what happened this year, if I may, boys.
I wish you would sing it so we didn't start the fire.
Should we have an over-under of what? Never mind. Go for it.
What?
Never mind. Go for it.
Okay. So I don't think I can do it till we don't start the fire. There's a lot of words here, so I don't know if I can. We may not have enough time, but basically, this is my little elevator pitch to those of you who are just fair weather fans and tuning in for the first time. But that's okay. We're happy you're here. Welcome in, as Chandler likes to say. This is what happened this year. And this is actually a fun little trip down memory lane because when I was writing this, I forgot about half these things. But without further ado, the Yankees had the most up and down season in recent memory, rattling off 13-game win streaks just to follow them up with losing about 10 and millions thereafter. Andrew Heaney became the worst pitcher in the Yankees' history and got the entire state of New York and then some to hate him. Remember that, guys?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sure, I do.
I remember that. Garrett Cole was the leader of the Sticky Revolution. Remember that? And then he followed that up by absolutely shutting down Josh Donaldson, calling him a cuck bitch, and then he made sure he knew it, and he struck him out thrice times in one game. Remember that?
Yep.
A-Rod is still one of the most annoying announcers, so that hasn't changed since the last time you guys tuned in October last year. The Yankees were so bad, we all were talking about selling, and they ended up buying more than they have in recent memory at the deadline, landing Rizzo, Gallo, along with a future World Series MVP Clay Holmes, who was welcomed with open arms immediately by this podcast. Luis Severino was hurt, and then he wasn't hurt, and then he was hurt again, and now he's not hurt, and he's back, and he's cool, and that's really helpful for the Yankees because he's good at baseball. He's good again. He might mention his name a little bit on the Hot or Not when we talk about that. Spoiler alert, that's happening too on this episode, along with Rounding Third. Absolute loaded show, like I said. It's October. It's starting to actually get cold again, so that's cool. Next, Kluber threw a no-hitter this year, which felt like it was 3 years ago, and he's also healthy again now, too. He wasn't for a little bit, which we kind of assumed, and he's back now. Giancarlo Stanton.
Texas.
What's that?
I said on a Wednesday night in Texas.
On a Wednesday night in Texas. On Kluber bobblehead night, no less. I forgot about that as well.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that.
Giancarlo Stanton nearly fought the entire Mets team all at once when they accused him of cheating, to which he responded, I don't know what he said, but I can imagine something along the lines of, that's for you, bitch, like CC said to them. And Giancarlo Stanton's really good. Speaking of which, we finally got Giancarlo Stanton and Judge, the Twin Tower combo that we planned on getting in 2017 when we landed Stanton, the former MVP. Jordan Montgomery was an extremely reliable pitcher for us all year, and the Yankees decided it would be funny to never score any runs for him all year long. Chapman had quite possibly the most dominant month of his career and became absolutely useless, and now he's back to being pretty good again. So that's fun. Andrew Velasquez, the kid from the Bronx, electrified the team for a bit. Then he was sent down along with Greg Allen, who also jolted the lineup with a little bit of speed. And Velasquez is back on the roster because DJ's hurt for the year, and that's pretty cool too. Spoiler alert, he might be one of my hot takes the way one of the big guys in this game going forward. We're about halfway through this list. A lot happened this year, so.
Did you mention Jay Bruce yet?
I'm getting there. So, Gary Sanchez confirmed still cannot catch and can hit. Whoops, that slipped out. Oh, yeah, DJ was very mediocre and is now out for the year. Yankees had about 12 catastrophic blown leads in the ninth inning of about 3 to 4 runs, just about enough for, a franchise, let alone 1 year of a franchise. All happened 1 year. And one of them, I mean, if you just think about any of them, if one, like that Domingo Germán no-hitter that he had through 8 against the Red Sox, we would be hosting this wild card if that were to, not just absolutely catastrophically blow up in our face. Did I mention
Houston?
Yep. Did I mention Andrew Heaney was an asshole? Because he was. Brett Gardner has played the 3rd most games on the team this year, and everybody was pissed off about that, including us, by re-signing him, and he ended up being a very vital piece of this team. Rugi Odor became a fan favorite because he's the biggest hype man ever, plus hitting 200 and coming up clutch in every single time he does get a hit by pimping home runs to the tits. Nestor Cortez is the best pitcher on the team, which started out as a joke, but is actually now a real thing. And he was the team mascot, and then he ended up getting a new team mascot, which is new news, and you probably know that already if you're tuning in now. The Yankees have lost a ton of games to the Orioles, and they're why we are where we are now. We went 36-40 against our division and beat everybody else. Johnny Lasagna is the most dominant closer on our team, and probably will be for years to come, as Chandler predicted that would happen. We played a game at the Field of Dreams. That was cool. Score 1 for the MLB. Wandy Peralta was the first player ever to make it off the sun. Actually, Sessa did too. Yankees treated Luke Voigt like shit, and now he's out for the year as well and probably won't be on the team anymore. And they got a pet turtle. Went on a postseason run. A cat streaked on the field. They won a bunch of games after that, and then the pass ball was the best player on the team. That's what happened this year.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Didn't we also use the most players in history on our roster?
I believe we did, Damon.
Is that this year, or is
That
that
was this year, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I remember seeing a stat
Which is
like,
kind of crazy.
a month
we
or
talked
two
about
ago
this.
that we had already had more players than the next man up team.
Yeah, we
With the
Well,
COVID shit,
that-
because we
yeah,
had
I
like
was gonna
half
say
our
that.
team go down. So
yeah. That happened.
I'm honestly really disappointed in you that you didn't do that till we didn't start the fire.
Do you want me to do it again?
Would have been a really
What a
really
missed
long
opportunity.
version.
Can you stay up later tonight and coordinate the song to that?
Why that song?
Yeah, that's what.
Because have you ever heard the
Okay,
song?
yeah,
It's
do you know
literally
what
the
the-
song is a like
I know what the
4
song.
minute. It's like a 4 minute list of
You just
events that have
listing-
happened.
You know why he wrote that song?
Thank you, Murphy. This
Well-
guy gets it.
Well, somebody said that nothing happened in his lifetime, so he just proceeded to list off everything that happened in his lifetime.
So, for those of you who are listening to this in podcast form, you'll probably already know that the amount of stuff that I just read out will be having "We Didn't Start the Fire" underneath it. I'll edit it in post and put it in there for you, Chandler. You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's big.
Sorry to those of you watching it live. So,
Andrew Heaney is a bitch.
Yeah.
well, I can't
There
put
he
the
is.
words like to the tune of it, but I'll put the song underneath. Hopefully, copyright doesn't end our show forever. So let's get into this.
Again.
So that's how we got to this point.
Honestly, that's something that should have been in there. That copyright ruined our show for like a month.
Yeah.
We were in Twitter jail for a little while.
We
Yeah.
were.
Yep.
I
That
would
did
say that's
happen.
as big as. I would say that had as much of an impact on the Yankees as Andrew Heaney.
Positive impact.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
Fuck that motherfucker.
Yankees are playing a wild card game tomorrow at 8:08, I think it is, in Fenway. What are just our initial thoughts here? What are our feelings? What are our confidence levels going into this game right now?
Not
Murph,
worried.
Murph, what do you think?
I like the pitching matchup. I'll start with that. I like Cole in the one game, and I like that we're not facing Sale in the one game, as cool as that would be to watch. I am otherwise terrified.
About what?
That is all.
Specifically.
I think that they're good. I think that they're a good team. I think I would rather face the Red Sox than the Blue Jays, though. I will say that.
1000%.
I think the Blue Jays are a little bit scarier.
The Blue Jays would,
And
I think the
like-
Blue Jays would have kicked our ass.
I just
truthfully,
I don't know how you could say that when we just beat them 2 out of
Oh,
3.
stop it, Damien. They would
No,
not beat
Damon,
our
I'm kind of
ass.
with you. I don't know if they would beat our ass. But
They
like,
they can
I-
easily
I
put
was
up
way
12
more scared.
runs
So can
without
we.
blinking. How many times have we done that? How many times have they
Well,
done
we're not
that?
playing them. Who cares? Why are we talking about this? So we're playing the Red Sox, and I don't know. I'm weirdly confident, but I'm weirdly not. It's all dependent on Garrett Cole and if he's actually fucking healthy. If Garrett Cole wasn't healthy, if he was healthy, I mean, then I would probably not feel bad at all. It's just
If
like
Garrett
we
Cole
don't
was
know
healthy,
what
we'd
Garrett
be-
Cole we're gonna get.
We'd be a minus 200 favorite if Garrett Cole was healthy.
Yeah.
I think
don't
we're
know.
getting playoff Garrett Cole because it's a playoff game, and maybe he's not the healthiest guy in the world, but
Yo, sorry.
who else are you gonna give the ball to?
Quick little tangent.
No one.
Quick little tangent. My cousin is the waiter for a couple Yankees right now in Boston.
Oh, really?
Are they
Which
getting
Yankees?
fucked up?
What?
Are they getting fucked up?
You were just like, I just served Velasquez some dinner and a couple other people.
That's dope.
Are they having drinks?
I don't know.
Please.
They better not be.
They better be.
No way.
I want
Get
them
that
loose
Mickey
tomorrow,
Mouse.
not
Velasquez
stiff.
probably needs to have a couple beers to calm the nerves. He's
Say,
probably
Velasquez
freaking the
is from
fuck
the
out.
Bronx. He's definitely.
I'm not scared about playing in Fenway whatsoever.
I got a lot of heartburn. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am. It's been just a factory of, chest in here. I'm hurting. I'm scared. I don't know. I'm not scared because I think we're gonna do poorly. It's just the magnitude of the game.
Yeah.
It's
am-
just so much on one game, one start by a guy that we don't know if he's healthy or not. And I know Cole isn't going to be one to grovel in it and bitch about it. He can when the season's over, he's probably going to have some fucking obscure hamstring surgery that we've never heard of, whether that season be tomorrow or October 30th. So I think he's a lot more hurt than what he's leading on. I've stood by this. I'm not making an excuse for him. If he gives up 20 tomorrow, that's on him. You don't go out there if you're that hurt. But I think he's gonna show. My bold prediction is my bold prediction, spoiler, is contradictory to this. But I think he's gonna show up tomorrow and at least be okay. The offense needs to fucking score. That's the bottom line. You can't put up a series like you did against the Rays tomorrow. The Reds. I mean, Rafael Devers hasn't gotten out since May. Like,
It's very scary.
he's very scary.
And
He
Kike
swings
is
very
scary
hard.
too.
When I said
So-
I was scared, that's exactly who I was thinking of. I was thinking of that swing that he had against the Nationals to make it 7-5, and
Yeah,
just
that
how
killed
he was
us.
pimping it, and there was just flashes of like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit,
Yeah.
going through my head. Like, I am a little scared of him. I'll admit it.
It's
And,
like the
more-
Game of Thrones scene when they're getting ready for the Battle of the Bastards. That's how I feel like right now.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep's gonna go down right now. I mean, I'm
It's
just
the night before the Battle of Winterfell.
yeah. I mean,
always
more
like
just
to drink before a battle, Murphy.
on Cole. It's just like you said, we all know he's hurt and he's not been pitching particularly well in the last month or so. We know the numbers, but like I feel like the adrenaline is gonna build it up, like even that out a little bit. So you're not gonna get a bad version of Cole because everybody knows he's a gamer and he's gonna go get after it. But level that out with him being hurt. It's just you really don't know what you're gonna get out of him right now. I hope it's just an absolute beast. That's obvious, but I just don't know that we're going to get that. My bold prediction that I say at the end of this episode, too, so sorry if you're going to get a little double dip action here. I think he's going to go 4, but I think the bullpen, which has been our absolute strength down the stretch for the last month, and now that we'll be getting more and more pieces back, and since all the cards are on the table in this game where you could throw relievers and starters and anybody like Montgomery would be on the table here. Like anybody's on the table here to get innings if you need it. I don't think he's going to go very long, but I don't think Evaldi's going to go long either, and that's going to play to our benefit. I just hope that when he's in there in the beginning, he keeps it at least close to. I'm expecting he gives up 2 runs in 4 innings, and then the bullpen takes it from there, and they give up like 1 for the rest of the game or 2 for the rest of the game because they've been lights out. Like the likes of Lasagna, Clay Holmes, just. Severino's going to come out of the pen. Like all these guys, Chapman hopefully doesn't have he's probably going to make us nervous and sweat, but he hopefully will get it done in the end. Like that plays to our strength. We were talking at the back end of this episode with BJ about like their pitching path to victory, and it does not sound as appealing as ours. And we can withstand a short Cole outing, and I don't think they can do the same if Evaldi is pulled early. So
Yeah.
What's your path if you had to script it today that you have to stick to tomorrow? That is your ideal path to winning this game. What's
I
your
wrote
pitching
this
path?
down.
Dude, honestly, I think it's exactly what we did the other day. I forget what game that was, but What was it was like Wandy, it was Holmes, it was Green, it was
Oh, so you're going like
Loizaga.
all bullpen.
No, why would you not? Well, this is different than that because you're going to throw.
No.
starters
I'm
on the
aware.
field.
I'm aware. I'm not saying those people particularly in that order. I'm just saying like I like the mentality of like that kind of sequence, regardless of who it is. I'm saying like Boone's mentality of that kind of sequence of pitchers. I thought he did really well managing that bullpen, and I am like kind of afraid that I feel like Boone won't be the guy to put out like Montgomery, for instance, in a situation if it's really needed. I really feel like he's going to go to his bullpen because I just don't think he's really ready to take that risk. And to be honest, I don't know if I'd want to see. I'm not saying Montgomery particularly. I'm just saying using him as an example. Like I don't know if I really want to see a starting pitcher like Montgomery go out there and throw because our bullpen kind of has been lights out as of recent, and I don't really want to change all of that just because we have the opportunity to do so.
My thing is that half of our bullpen are starters anyway.
Exactly.
Like, i.e.
So that's what I was
King
gonna say.
and Savvy. And Loizaga an ex-starter who can go 2 innings if need be. My path, I agree with you that I think Boone did a fine job, and I think that's kind of the blueprint to follow if Cole implodes. But in a perfect world, Cole gives me 6 of 1 or 2 run ball. And then you go to Loizaga for 7, see how he's doing. Hopefully he can get you 7 and 8, and then you go to Chapman. Or you skip over that, and you go Loizaga, Clay Holmes, or you go Clay Holmes, Loizaga, Chapman. Any combination of those 3, I need Cole. If you want to win this game realistically, with the way the bats have been the last 3 or 4 days, they're so hit or miss, and especially against Evaldi. Look at the splits. We talk about it later. Half the season they've crushed Evaldi. Half the season they've been dominated and overpowered by Evaldi. Whichever team shows up. In the magnitude of the game, I don't know that they're going to put up an ungodly amount of runs. So I want to see Cole give me depth. I need 5-6 innings out of Cole to make me feel confident in this team. And I don't want to use Wandy. I don't want to use Jolie Rodriguez. I don't want to use Chad Green. To me, if you want to win this game, you put the ball in the hands of Cole, Loizaga, Clay, and Chapman. Those are my 4 in any order that you can make them. But you got to get 27 outs out of those 4 if you want to win this game.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
A way easier way to talk about this would be like, who do you want to see? Not particularly what order you want to see it in. And you said 6 out of Cole. I think that is probably the absolute max we're gonna get, considering his health. Considering everybody knows playoff games, the pitch counts are all higher because everybody's working counts. So we saw that with Montgomery. Montgomery felt like he threw for 10 innings in the game against the Rays in the ALDS, but it was like 2 or 3. Severi gets pulled early in the wild card games. Like nobody really goes long in wild card games, or not wild card games, just playoff games. And coaches have a quicker hook with pitchers because you don't want that third time through the order to happen, and like one run here could win the game. So with that being said, I think 4 is the realistic number that Cole has. And my question to you, Murph, would be, what are other names that you would like to see? And then we'll get after that and be like, who would you not mind seeing but wouldn't prefer it? And then who would you straight up do not want to see pitch in this game?
Well, so I think what we just said, like the same names is who I want to see. I want to see, Loizaga, Holmes, Chapman, and whatnot. But I think Cole's got to go over 4 innings. Like, I think you're absolutely right in the fact that managers are way quicker to trigger the bullpen in playoff games. Pitch counts are higher, yes. But, like, when you have your ace on the mound and his name is Garrett Cole in a wild card game, I think it's a different story. I think the Red Sox throwing Evaldi are going to be way quicker to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Because he's not like the guy, the way Cole's supposed to be the guy. So if he gives up 2 runs through 4 innings, I don't think that means you pull him.
I just think knowing the current state of his health, is it make it more likely? And to play on your side of this, Murph, to play on your side of this, Murph, I don't think Cole will come out. I don't think if Boone tried to pull him, he'd be like, "Get the fuck back in the dugout, bitch."
Right, like
Cole has the final say. It doesn't. Cole is going to go as far as his body lets him to go. And honestly, and I said when we were talking with BJ, I legitimately a good parallel to this, the 2017 wild card game against the Twins when our ace like a 22-year-old Sevy gets roughed up in the first inning. That's not going to happen again. Garrett Cole he's not getting pulled unless he gives up like 7 in the first inning.
Or we score 7. And
exactly. You're not going to pull. Garrett Cole's leash is so long, and the trust in Garrett Cole, the money, the trust, the whole aura that is Garrett Cole, you don't pull him. Not saying I agree, disagree, whatever. I'm just saying the fact of the matter is whatever happens with Garrett Cole, he's going to get depth. Look at his start against Boston. Look at his start against the Blue Jays. He gave up 7 runs and still threw 6 innings. That's all I'm saying. I know the leash is a little shorter, but I just don't see any scenario that if they're still in the game that they're going to pull Garrett Cole. I just don't think you can do it.
I mean, this is what you pay him for. This is the exact moment that we pay him for, and this is why we have him on our team and have him as an ace. This is literally the reason.
If his 100 pitches last 5 innings because they're working counts and whatnot, then we have the Holmes of the world to fall back on.
Yeah.
And the whole bullpen to fall back on, and that's great. But
I think
it's more about his pitch count, less about his innings.
Yeah,
agreed.
And I would not be surprised if we saw Wandy tomorrow or Licky as well.
We'll see Wandy.
Yeah, I think that's probable because I think that there's going to be some situation where we need to get a few outs from a lefty, and maybe there's 2 outs. We've seen this all the time as of recently, but there's 2 outs in an inning, and a lefty's up, and Boone brings in a lefty like Wandy or Licky just to try and face him and get him out, and then that's his job. So, I would not be surprised if that happens tomorrow. And again, all cards are on the table.
Yeah, like the best arms we have are all righties when you look at it. So that's how you know. Like I'm looking at these. Like I've made a list of arms that I want to see come out of the pen, and the top 5 on this list are all righties. So that alone makes you know that Wandy and Licky are going to come out of the pen earlier than any of these other guys because they are lefties. So when you're trying to get Devers out, I don't know why you're making that face. I'm talking about Clay Holmes, not in any particular order. These 5 names are over Licky and Wandy for me. Is Clay Holmes, Lasagna, Severino, Chapman is lefty. You're right. I forgot about him.
But Chapman's a different thing. Chapman's not coming in.
Okay, he won't come in until the 9th. So the other names
out of the pen.
Yes,
so
the names I would take. The names I would take over Licky and Wandy in a vacuum would be Lasagna, Severino, Clay Holmes, even Mike King.
Yeah, of course.
You would take Mike King over Wandy?
I think so.
Mike King's have been a fucking animal.
Obviously, depends on the situation. If I'm going after Devers, I'm going to take Wandy.
But I think Mike King, in his situation, he would come in for a full inning or maybe even 2. I don't think he'd be 2.
I don't really know if I want to. I
don't either. I'm saying like that's more of his situation as per like
in the regular season.
Yes, but I'm saying like
Mike
that's
King
what
comes in unless Cole implodes. I legitimately think that the path to winning this game, the script as of right now is Cole and then some combination of Chad Green's going to be in the mix because he always is.
Yep.
The guys that they're going to go to: Chad Green, Clay Holmes, Loizaga, Chapman. There's 4, so theoretically you have 4 innings there. Cole has to get through 5. If you have to get more than 4 out of the bullpen, 1, you're already fucked. But I think Wandy would be the next option unless Cole just implodes. Then you go to the Mike King. Maybe you go to Sevy instead of Wandy. It just depends on matchups. But, I think the trio of Loizaga, Chapman, and Holmes is a guaranteed 3 innings. I think Cole is a guaranteed 4 minus something crazy. And then you piece together the last 2, regardless of how he's doing or anything like that. Chad Green is going to be up there in one of the later innings. Whether you want him or not, Chad Green's going to throw tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. That's obvious.
He's not on our trust tree, though. That's what I'm saying. Chad Green is going to throw tomorrow in some capacity, and you can bank on that. And I don't trust him worth a fuck. I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. So basically, after all that, you're looking at 1 inning, worst case scenario that you have to get out of the rest of the bullpen. And I think that goes to Wandy, barring something crazy. Then you bring in the Mike King.
Would you rather have Lasagna go for a second inning knowing full well that he's coming off injury and he maybe not be built up that much and more pressure and more pitches being thrown per inning, or a fresh Chad Green?
I think a fresh Chad Green.
I agree.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I thought Chandler would answer differently. I think the majority of people will probably answer differently, but when you look at it like actually logistically in that spot, I think Chad Green. I mean, as bad as Chad Green's been in spots in this season,
Loizaga is still the guy. Loizaga has been a 2-inning guy most of the year. Chad Green's been
I just told you he's coming off injury, so like you don't know that he can go 2 innings, let alone these larger pitch volume innings. Like 2 innings is like 40 pitches. I'm telling you.
I think you run him out there and see what he has at the very least.
Like that's like famous last words though.
Yeah, to get burnt on that.
I don't
care. You're gonna trust the guy that's given up 12 go-ahead home runs, or are you gonna trust the guy that's been by WAR before he went down the best reliever in all of baseball?
Oh, I know damn well that Loizaga is a better reliever than Chad Green, but that second inning, it turns around. It's like, oh, let's see what he's got. Oh, he walks the guy. Now what do you do?
He hasn't done that enough.
If he walks the guy, then you yank him. If Chad Green can't get out of a guy on first, nobody out, then he shouldn't be in that fucking spot in the first place. That's why you're in that position in the bullpen, is to get out of jams. A guy on first, nobody out, a leadoff walk that you're coming into isn't the end of the world. That right there is telling enough about Chad Green. If you don't trust him to come into it with one runner on first, that's showing enough of how shitty that Chad Green's been. Like, if going to your bullpen in that situation, you should have full confidence that your guy can get out of that. No, realistically.
All right. I got a little more faith in Chad Green. He's a vet. He's been there. He's done it. Granted, he hasn't been great that year or this year, but
I am too, Murph, and I'm saying that now. But when he walks into the game, I'm not going to feel.
I'll be shaking. I will be shaking when he walks into the game in that situation.
With that being said, let's move on from this conversation because we're just talking too much about Chad Green. With that being said, too, there are names that are going to come in before Chad Green in my mind, and even in the decision of Boone, like I think Clay Holmes has earned that spot to come out earlier, or I mean, to be more in a more real sense later, because he'll be in a later inning, maybe even the 8th inning. I think he's earned that. Depends where you want to bring in Lasagna, because he can go a little longer. I mean, I think that Clay Holmes Lasagna show should be the 7, 8, and potentially 6, 7, 8. They share it and they figure it out show. See, that's where you run into issues, because then you have a righty going against Devers late, and you don't like that. You don't like that.
Here's one thing. Put the righty lefty aside.
The whole key to this game is Cole get through 5. Cole get through 5. That's the key to this game.
You're absolutely right. But when we're talking about the Clay Holmes and the Loizagas coming in, they haven't pitched in the playoffs. And granted, they're not rookies. They've experienced plenty of innings in Major League Baseball. But you kind of want to rely on some of your guys in the bullpen who have been there. The Wandys of the world that are vets. The obviously Chapmans of the world. I think Sevy's had a lot of big playoff innings. Like, when you're relying on 3 or 4 guys that really haven't been there, it's a little tough when that's the entire lineup.
Didn't Loizaga kick ass in the playoffs last year?
I don't look it up.
I disagree with that a little bit, just because of the latest stretch of games we've played and the intensity that those games have held the last week. I feel like all those games have been playoff games and almost like one-off wild card games. Not,
obviously, you're saying this like it's a unique take.
What?
We were like win or go home for the last 2 weeks, and everybody knows it's been playoffs.
Okay, I'm making a point based on Murph's.
Go ahead,
saying
continue.
About high leverage situations and them not pitching.
All right,
in
talk
the playoffs.
to everybody else, not me.
All I was saying was that the last week has been high intensity games, and I don't feel like that's gonna be that much different from the pitch tomorrow. And I wouldn't.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So let me finish sometimes, and maybe it actually makes some fucking sense.
I got it.
Let him talk. You might like what he has.
My God. Sometimes. And all I'm trying to say is that I don't think that's really going to affect them in that much of a situation, and that's not enough of a factor to not throw them in that situation.
Agreed.
I agree with you.
Loizaga's just too dirty. His pitches are so good.
I mean, that sinker is disgusting.
Every pitch he throws is disgusting. You can't look at me in the eyes and tell me that You don't trust Loizaga because of lack of playoff experience. When you watch him throw, the bases loaded against Boston to try and close the wild card gap, 100 under the hands. He's burning the team that's hot in baseball. The Red Sox are charging the Rays. Here we come. Loizaga comes in, bases loaded. Albeit he worked himself into it, but he worked himself out of it. Yesterday, yesterday, guy gets on second, and then third, he gets a strikeout of Nelson Cruz, a guy who can hit pop-ups at the very least. We know that, and can hit home runs. He's probably a Hall of Famer, and he strikes him out on good, disgusting pitches that are perfectly located, and then gets the pop-up to Meadows, who's been the Yankee fucking fister this entire year. Like,
Yeah. No,
that right there shows me it's to play off Murphy and Damon's point, mainly Damon, before he got rudely interrupted.
Thank you,
I
Chad.
apologize.
You're welcome. That those spots right there prove to me that Loizaga can do it. And if he comes in tomorrow and he gives up 10, I still believe in him just because he's done it now. Like I've said before the season, coming in with Loizaga, it's never been a question of stuff. It's been a question of location. And another thing, maybe just to kind of put a bow on this and maybe move on, is Matt Blake. Matt Blake has been an absolute revelation to this team. And I think at the end of the season, we're going to see a lot of personnel changes, i.e. Boone, Marcus Thames, whatever. Because I don't think that they have the talent to win the World Series, really and truly. I hope to God they do. But barring a World Series run, there's going to be some people who lose their jobs. Matt Blake cannot be one of those people. What he's done with this rotation, what he's done with his bullpen, Loizaga included, Michael King, Litke, Wandy, all these people, Clay Holmes. He is the single most important coach on this staff right now. And that just plays right back into that Loizaga thing. He's turned Loizaga into from an erratic kid who has stuff to a pitcher that can do it on the big stage. And the Matt Blake factor is why I trust Loizaga in these spots.
You're right. And just one more thing to put a bow on it too. Could you imagine a world when we didn't get Loizaga back here? Loizaga single-handedly changes the entire scope of this game. He's going to have such
the whole pitching staff.
Out of the people that aren't named Garrett Cole, Giancarlo Stanton, and Aaron Judge, I think Loizaga's name is the fourth most important person in this team.
Yeah,
totally agree.
And hopefully we don't even have to see him, because if we don't see him, that means things are going really well.
I think we
I think
will
there's
100% see him.
There's no world where we don't see him, because Cole's not going to go 9. And if
No, I'm saying I'm completely saying if we're up like 9-0.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
agreed.
Or down
9-0.
Honestly, either way, I don't want to give up take the foot off the gas of we're up 9-0. I want to fucking keep going because I don't trust this team at all in late innings.
And the Red Sox have a great offense, but they are potentially going to be missing JD Martinez, which could be a big thing.
Wait, what?
I did not know that.
He got hurt in the last game. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to play. I'm sure if he can play, he will play, but DJ isn't. He got shut down. JD got pretty banged up. I'm sure you can look up
but so did Gio.
A more updated scenario. Gio, let's see what happens with him. But I've been hearing through the grapevine that JD might not play, and you guys can obviously confirm or deny that.
As
one
of
thing,
5 hours ago, JD Martinez in wait and see mode.
Yep. See.
After a quote unquote freak injury.
Yep.
What was the
Also,
freak injury?
Gio's
he's
awesome,
listening
and
to
JD
the-
Martinez is a bitch. So
Let's give. Speaking of those two, let's give Gio Urshela his time right now, because that was single-handedly, like, everybody give him a round of applause right now.
Have you seen the side by sides of that and the Jeter catch where he went in the stands?
That's
'Cause they're,
immediately what I thought.
oddly similar. Like, yeah, it reminded me of it when I thought of it too, but then when I actually saw them side by side, it's like eerily similar.
It's crazy. I mean, just the amount of absolute. We talk about, like, all throughout this year having heart and wanting to win. That play right there is every single thing we were wishing this team would have, and he embodied all of that in 1 second. I hope to God he's okay. He stayed in the game, but everybody saw him still hobbling around. Like, he's
Yeah.
clearly not okay in the moment. Maybe that was just like being sore. I hope it didn't end up being
I mean, you
something
fell down the
serious.
stairs. You fall down the stairs. You lay there for a little bit.
No. But
Anybody
dude,
would.
there's concrete and wood down
I
there.
No,
thought he
I agree.
died.
But well, so here's something. I don't know what it's worth, but earlier I looked at the injury reports just based like on ESPN when I was looking at the game, and it said LeMahieu and Voit obviously on the IL, and then it said Gio day to day. I just went to double check about the JD Martinez thing, and now it doesn't say day to day next to Gio's name.
This is the headline from ESPN. Boston Red Sox JD Martinez getting treatment on ankle. Gio Urshela good to go.
There we
See?
go.
He just got a
What a
cortisone
fucking
shot.
trooper, man.
That's all he
He's a
got.
trooper.
I
crazy.
actually, for a brief second, I was kind of worried that Gio was dead. When they
Yeah, he
were all
didn't move for a
sitting there
while.
looking at it, I was like, "Oh, he's knocked out. Like my man, he might not ever walk again."
I mean, him hobbling the at bat afterwards was not a good sign. But again, I think it was probably just a bruise, and he'll take a shot of something, get some ice on it, and he'll be fine for tomorrow.
I feel like Gio's always kind of a hobbler, though.
Yeah, he is. That's true.
He doesn't have like a smooth running motion. Not that I'm the person to talk about that because
Yeah.
look at me. But
But I
You
don't. This is really they don't directly compare, but just like looking at like big injuries from both sides, I think that the JD not playing is a much bigger loss to the Red Sox than DJ not playing for us.
I think
agree.
JD will go.
Yeah.
There's no way that he'll miss that unless he is just the giant bitch.
Yeah, agreed. So do I want to can't speak. Do you want to get into hot or not?
Sure.
It's a abbreviated version of hot or not, but it's going to segue into us the last week or so of play to see who's hot and not going into this wild card game, what to expect, and what we think will happen going into this game. So who wants to do the hots and who wants to do the nots? Let's have Murphy do the hots, and let's have Damon do the nots. Sorry, Chandler.
No, that's okay. I feel like I always do. I was going to suggest that I don't do it today.
All right, leading off for the hots, Aaron Judge, 219 WRC plus in the last 7 days, 368 batting average, 440 OBP, 842 slug, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 1.28 OPS in the last week. Yes, sir.
Use your words.
Luis Severino, 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 12 Ks per 9, and 100 batting average against in the last since coming back.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Gleyber Torres, the 132 WRC plus, 304 batting average, 855 OPS.
That one I'm a little skeptical about.
It depends. Fuck it.
No, like
Make up your
I
mind.
mean, that's great. But
Hot or
I'm
not?
not buying that.
No.
Not hot, definitely, but not buying it going forward.
So, obviously, Gleyber made this list for his performance. He made the list last week for being very, very hot, just better than he has been all year. Obviously, one little knock on him is the lack of Johnny Hustle on that play there, to which Judge and Gardy both talked to him about. Obviously, a bad look. Some people were calling for him to get benched. I don't really give a fuck in that sense. You're not benching Gleyber Torres with a few games left in the season, regardless of how not fantastic he's been. I know he's not like bulletproof to the point where like, oh, you're not going to bench Gleyber Torres because he hasn't been Gleyber Torres this year, but
Well, when
you're
DJ's
still
out,
not.
You're gonna
What?
DJ's out. He's
Yeah,
gone.
especially
Well, yeah, especially with that. Like, you're really going to, when push comes to shove, you're really going to start Tyler Wade or Velasquez over Gleyber Torres?
There's no way.
Glaber's been Glaber since. Like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's been good recently.
I know. But I was just speaking to the people that were like, oh, bench Gleyber Torres, because that's not what you do.
over his last 30, Glaber's hitting 292, OPS over 800. So
Taking my
Wait,
job.
last 30 games or at bats?
30 games.
You know, he's been a recurring person on the hot list.
He's
I just wanted
31
to.
for his
I didn't know it
last
was. I didn't know it was
106.
that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's
he's
great.
been-
I
he's
didn't know it was that high.
He's been damn good.
Guys.
And obviously, you know, Aaron Judge, I put him on this list for the last week just to give you a taste of what he's been doing the last week if you haven't been paying attention and you're just tuning in for the playoffs now. But, I mean, now when you look at Aaron Judge's season completing right now, he finishes top 5 in the league, not in the AL, in home runs, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, weighted runs created plus, and WAR. And Aaron Judge's walk-off hit in the 8th inning in the 9th inning, actually, is a walk-off hit, is his 8th
Run that by me
go-ahead.
again.
Huh?
Run.
Yeah,
have a walk-off.
I didn't say that correctly. Aaron Judge's walk-off hit is his 8th go-ahead hit in the 8th inning or later. This season's tied for the most in the MLB, and that is the most by any Yankee in a season since the expansion era began in 1961. It was also his first walk-off hit. All the rest of them have been home runs. So Aaron Judge's clutch is damn good at baseball, and I'm very happy he's on the team and wasn't traded at the deadline like everybody wanted him to. So claps to Judge for having a quiet MVP year. Not MVP, he's obviously not going to win, but he's going to be top 5 for sure. Maybe even higher than that.
Ohtani and Vlad didn't have 2 historical in a normal year. He's certainly getting first place votes.
I mean, top 5 across the board on all those major categories is a case for number 1 in MVP. But obviously,
no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it was a normal year where you don't have Vlad, who almost won a triple crown, and Ohtani, who is Ohtani, if this is 2018 or 19, he's winning the MVP.
One other cool stat on Aaron Judge, and then we'll turn the page on him because everybody knows he's good, is Aaron Judge in late and close situations, 105 plate appearances. His batting average is .364. It's number 1 in the MLB. His on-base percentage is .457, number 1 in the MLB. His slugging percentage is .602. That's first in the American League, 3rd in the MLB. Late and close situations is 7th inning or later, tied ahead by 1, or tying run at least on deck. He is the best, most clutch player in baseball this year, and it is fantastic. So if you're going to make a bold prediction, it would be Aaron Judge to do the damn thing in a wild card like he has done in the past. So I'm feeling good having that man on this team, and you better believe they're not going to want to pitch to him, but the beauty of having Stanton behind him is you can't really pitch around him now because you don't want to pitch to Giancarlo Stanton. So
I was really surprised that they didn't walk Judge
what a mistake.
last game.
Yeah, because I was explaining this to Alyssa too, because while I was watching with her, I give her little lessons on little baseball here, mainly because I have nobody else to talk about, but I also want to catch up to speed on some things too. So if you're listening, Alyssa, I also enjoy watching with you. So save. But I was telling her, like, you might want to walk Judge here because you have the base open. That was when it was 2nd and 3rd, right? You have the base open. See, I was telling her
and 1 out.
The beauty of and 1 out. The beauty of having Stanton there is because you can't just intentionally walk a guy like Judge on a normal situation. But in this case, when the base is open, you might want to walk him. They didn't. It obviously paid off for us and not for them in that situation. But
it's like pick your battle. Do you want Judge or Stanton up right now?
Yeah. So in a playoff situation, just that little instance is the beauty of having Stanton hitting the way he is, and not like when he's an easy out and striking out in one of those big slumps. You kind of don't have to treat it the same. He's still Giancarlo Stanton, but you don't have to treat it the same. When he's hitting like this and Judge is hitting like this at the same time, which is the first time we've ever seen this, you have to change the way you approach them. And when you have no place to put them, there's nothing to fucking do. You got to throw them the ball, and they're going to hit the fucking ball. So that's why, I mean, when you look at other guys who are going to get opportunities, look for Joey Gallo to hopefully get out of this slump. He's going to get pitches to hit. So I don't think they're going to throw low and away sliders to Gallo. Like, I think we're going to talk about on the back end of the show about the Gallo strikeouts. I don't think he's going to get a lot of strikeout pitches, at least. He might still strike out, but they're not going to throw him balls because they don't want to walk him. He walks a lot. They would rather throw them in the zone to him because they can't waste pitches on him, because you're going to throw the waste pitches to Judge and Stanton. So he's going to get pitches to hit. So look for him to hit a home run.
Do you think Tyler Way should have scored on Rizzo's single?
No, and I'm glad they didn't send him. But I'd love to hear.
I'm surprised they didn't, not knowing him. But
I think it just got to the outfield too quickly, and there was a slight chance that he could have caught that. Dove.
I stood up. I collapsed when he didn't score. And looking back on it, I know he shouldn't have sent him. But in the moment, I almost had to be hospitalized.
I was in the airport watching the game on my phone, and I literally threw my phone up in the air. I was screaming, running down the airport because I was waving him home.
Yeah, no, I was too. I was sitting next to my TV doing that.
And I as soon as he hit that ball, I thought we won. I was like,
same.
Whoa, my God. I was like, send him. And then when he stopped, I started cursing at.
Oh my
Again,
God.
this is all in the middle of an airport with people around me. I'm screaming at my phone right now.
They get it.
Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
It was a flight to
No.
New York, so everyone was like, "Yo, what's going on?"
No, but I understand why. They
I
didn't
fully
send them.
collapsed and was like a limp, dead body on my ground. And then I realized that would have just been a horrible fucking idea. And then Judge ended it, so it was all cool.
I mean, the
Yeah.
throw was offline a little bit, but you don't want to waste Tyler Wade's speed on a play that may or may not. Like, I think he had him beat on the throw. Like by the time he was rounding third or even on third, the ball was already thrown.
He probably would have. Yeah, it was also an offline throw, so
But
he
you don't know that when
probably
you're
would have
sending
made
him,
it.
though.
Exactly. I'm saying in hindsight,
it's
he
a
probably
non
would have
it's a
made it.
non-issue now, but I'm
Either way,
just
we
saying,
won. Let's move on.
In the moment, I
Yeah.
was in a bad place.
One other thing that I want to bring up about this Rays series is, and I hope we do run into this problem again because it means we won the wild card game, but Kevin Kiermaier, every time he fucking walks and he pimps it and he throws it 500 miles per hour, it's my least favorite thing on the planet. I just wanted to put that gripe
Yeah,
out
I
there.
really don't like him at all.
I hate him. So I hope we have that problem to deal with in the next couple days because that means we won. Do you want to get into the knots?
Let's do it.
Who's doing the knots?
Me.
Me.
It's fitting. It's past Damon's bedtime, so he gets really cranky now.
I'm not cranky.
I know you're not, but you were a slight.
Before
bit
we started the
cranky
episode, I was a
before we
little
started.
cranky, but then you told me to snap
could
out of
see.
it, and I snapped out of it just for you.
Good. And you saw an awesome carne asada recipe, which
That
how
really,
could,
that
how
really
could you be
picked
cranky
me up.
after that?
That picked me up. I'm excited to make
Yeah.
that tomorrow.
Wrong button.
Oh yeah.
We got some surprise Jeopardy going on. I'm down.
All right.
That changed my mood.
First up on the not list is Gary Sanchez. Has a 47% K percentage in the last week. .071 batting average, 307 OPS, and a 4 WRC plus.
I buy that. I think he's gonna be irrelevant tomorrow. So
Joey Gallo, 118 batting average, 0 home runs, 42% K percentage, 382 OPS in last week.
I'm going to buy the. I'm gonna buy it too. Yep.
Okay. Albert Abreu just coming in an absolutely a spot where you had to have it. I don't think it's more on him bringing him in. I think it's Boone bringing him in a spot where we just had to have it. But Albert Abreu coming in, giving up 2 runs.
I'm not buying that just because I think that he was not built for that situation. That was forced.
So more on the Gary thing. Obviously, as everybody knows, Gary's not going to be starting tomorrow. Higgy's going to be starting. But I mean, I don't think anybody here is upset about that.
I really hope that he hits a home run tomorrow, and then I
Higgy?
can. No, Gary. He hits like a pinch hit home run, and then I can make a clip of myself saying he's gonna be irrelevant tomorrow, and then he hits the fucking.
He
Oh
may
my.
pinch
Gary
hit.
Sanchez
I don't think
should
so.
not start a single game this playoffs with what he's saying. He's not even putting.
It's more of a
no.
defensive thing for me than the
Fuck
offensively.
that motherfucker. I'm tired of watching him watch 3 straight watching 2 fastballs go down the middle and wave it strike 3 in the dirt. It's fucking old. Stop fucking defending Gary Sanchez. I put up the tweet the other day of his slash line since he was good when he made, mind you, 2018 he also hit 180, but coming into 2019 he made the All-Star team, and the people are like, oh, yeah, Flash is a rookie, Gary Sanchez. No, fucking stop. Since that time, he's hitting under 200. He has a WRC plus of like 90. He's striking out 30-something% of the time. He's playing poor defense. It's fucking done. Quit the Gary Sanchez experiment. He provides fuck nothing for this team going forward.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even kidding.
No,
I
What
know,
we're
does
all on your
Gary
we're on the
Sanchez
same
provide
page.
to you in a playoff game? Do you feel comfortable, bases loaded? I don't give a fuck who's pitching. Let's say Loizaga, who all of his pitches move, bases loaded, 2 outs. Loizaga's got a guy 0-2. He's got a pitch to burn. You have to pitch around Gary Sanchez because you can't throw that pitch in the dirt because he's going to fucking stab at it and take it off the teeth, and it's going to bounce into the stands and 2 runs score. I've had a fucking enough of it. He's going to come up the next at bat, the next inning. He's going to watch strike 1, strike 2, and wave at strike 3 that hits somebody in the first base dugout. I'm over it. I'm so fucking over it. Stop defending him. Fuck.
I was just laughing. I was just laughing because you said fuck nothing.
He literally provides 0. I'm so over it. And the people are like, oh, so you're mad at an average catcher? He's not an average catcher. He sucks. He's fucking atrocious. And the shit that he's doing right now, this is the worst version of Gary Sanchez you can possibly get. At least sometimes when he's on his hot streak, he'll catch one and somebody will hit his bat. He's not even swinging his bat right now to accidentally hit it.
I hope Higgy comes in and hits a big hit tomorrow, so he can just be the starter every single time, every game. Like if it's like a home run, like a big home run, and then we can just absolutely not like. There's no chance of bringing Gary in to even pinch hit because if Higgy's hot hitting wise, then we just don't have to worry about Gary Sanchez. He can just be hanging out with Bronxy.
Yeah, I mean in the last 3 series of the season, which were the 3 biggest series that we had, he had a combined 2 hits in the 3 biggest series that we've ever had, which is in total 8 games.
Somebody tweeted at us and was like, "Oh, like he didn't help us win the Rangers and Red Sox series." Like, dude, he was 3 for 16,
nothing.
with 7 strikeouts and 1 RBI. Like, no, that's spot on. He didn't do anything.
And he's terrible behind the plate.
Bad.
I've said a long ago, I'd never want to talk about him. He doesn't deserve to be talked about.
It does now that the season's over.
Well, no, let's not get there yet.
I think that this is not the whole season. I know there's the playoffs, but the 162 season's over. The Gary Sanchez experiment. This is my one little, other than my Boone talk with BJ later and Luke later, is
I wasn't there. It's all right.
You were there, but you didn't. You weren't as heated. Luke tried to fight me on it, but this is something it's gone on too long. And I was listening to Chris Russo talk about it earlier, and he was like, "Yeah, the Yankees are good. I'm just worried because they don't have a catcher on the team." That right there, if you have the national media, the guy who has his own time slot every day saying the Yankees don't even have a catcher on their team, that's embarrassing, man. You're supposed to be a perennial MVP, one of the baby bombers, and you are now lumped in that category. They don't even have a catcher. This season it's hit the boiling point for me. This is a year of pent up frustration because we weren't allowed to talk about him for so long. It's finally hit that point for me where I'm so over him. I'm so fucking over it. The at bat he had the other night with guys on first and second was probably the least competitive at bat I've ever seen out of a Major League Baseball player, aside from Jay Bruce.
Agreed. So
sorry.
One thing that I want to bring up is now that, obviously DJ's hurt and he's having season-ending surgery, and that's just maybe he was dealing with it all year. Maybe that's why he had a down year. Who knows? But the situation that we're dealing with right now is now Velasquez gets the call up. Wade's going to probably get more of a role, but they're probably going to hold off on starting Wade because they like to plug him in as being, the pinch runner, and he's obviously had really big success doing that. So one thing that we talked about during our win streak and a different dimension that Velasquez adds is that speed. And I honestly, the way DJ was hitting, I'm honestly not as devastated as you might think when you hear that DJ LeMahieu is out for the year during a playoff run, because yes, I am upset about it. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but it's just, I think having Velasquez on the team, I know he had a little bit of like a historic run and he was playing out of his mind and all that, but like the intangibles that he brings and the type of player that he brings to the table is something that we don't really have on the team, and it's very helpful to have. And I think he's gonna have a pretty big role in this team. He's probably our best base stealer. Wade's been having some bad jumps recently, but they're still gonna have him be the pinch runner probably. But he plays damn good defense. And he's probably going to, I don't know. I would put Velasquez as a starting shortstop. I don't know. They're probably going to do Odor playing third, Gio is short. But I think with Gio being hurt, I'd rather have, Gio's probably still going to play. And if that's the case, I'd rather have Gio just hobbling around at third than have him at short, Odor at third, Glaber at second, because that's a pretty bad defense all in all if you look at that. Like, I'd rather have Velasquez at least making every play at shortstop, Gio hobbling around at third doing his thing, and Rizzo, and then you got Glaber at second. Like, that's what I'd rather have, and then you have Odor as a pinch hitter off the bench, Wade as a pinch runner off the bench.
I think that's probably going to happen too.
I don't think so. I think Odor's going to end up starting.
I think so too.
I think if Velasquez was going to start the playoffs, he would have started the Rays series because the Rays series is essentially a playoff.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I just think it really does depend on how Gio's feeling. Like, if he can't cover that much ground, at shortstop, then it's more of a liability to put him out there.
Yeah,
I don't
that's the point.
if Gio plays, he's playing shortstop.
You think?
75% of the ground Gio covers is still a lot more than a lot of people cover. Like he's
no,
still
it's not. Gio's range is one of the
Look at
worst.
Dude, he went into the dugout. Like that's a good range.
Yeah, see, hold on.
his
Now that
range,
you
how
say
he got
that,
hurt.
okay. Now
Like,
that you
that's
say
kind
that,
of what I'm referring to is that like
I know. I was
Dude,
just
he
referring.
covered 123 feet.
Yeah, I can't even believe I just said that out loud too, because I was more fixated on the everybody always says like Gio's the best defender, but
because he plays third, he doesn't have to use his range.
yeah,
That is one thing I will say that there's a flaw in the defensive metrics is
Yeah.
to tell me that Gio's not an elite defender. Like that's just no. Fuck off.
they're gonna change the metrics after seeing that. And I apologize to Gio for bringing. I was on the metric side of things right there, but after seeing him go 129 feet into a dugout. By the way,
I hope he's listening.
would it kill the Rays to like try and help catch him? He was running 100.
Kind of.
He ran 129
Not so
feet.
much of a
He was coming the whole
split-second
way.
decision that has to be. Nobody's gonna. If somebody's falling down the stairs, you get out.
Dude,
of
he
the
was
way. You don't
coming
go
for
like this and try to catch
129
him.
feet. There was the ball was going towards the
but they
dugout and
probably
he
didn't-
wasn't
then
stopping.
But then
Dude,
if he drops it,
fuck
you say
the
they
Rays.
interfered with them. They got to get out of the way.
The
Nobody's
Rays
gonna
were
catch
trying
him.
so hard to win that series just so Kevin Cash could have his fucking little douchebag spot. I'm not gonna lie, this one felt a little better because we eliminated the Yankees, who threw at our guy 2 fucking years ago.
I saw a theory that they threw the game on purpose.
Total bullshit. Did
It
you?
was
I mean,
bullshit,
Randy
but you wanna-
Rosarina's
do you wanna
tagging up
hear
on
it?
like fly balls to
Well,
second base.
so they decided to throw it towards the end of the game.
Why?
Because they didn't want to face the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays were up like 12-2 or whatever against the Orioles, and the Red Sox were down. And so it was like
They were down 5-1.
if the
in
Red
seventh.
Sox lost, Blue Jays won, Yankees won, then there was like some sort of a play-in game that they wanted to happen, and basically it all went to hell when the Red Sox ended up winning. But the theory was that Kevin Cash was throwing it by putting in Peter Fairbanks, who has been good all year but hadn't been good in the last.
Well, the
like,
Red
month
Sox
or
didn't
something.
tie it
So-
until our game was almost over.
Well,
and
that's
they
what I
didn't
mean.
take
So,
the lead
like-
until after it. I think it's
so
total
the theory
bullshit.
is
The
that he
Rays
was
played that.
trying to do it when the Red Sox were down, assuming the Red Sox were going to lose.
The Rays played that whole series to win.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's why it was bullshit. It was just interesting.
The Gio plays on right now. There's no way he could have caught them. There's no way they could have caught him.
There's no way.
Okay. And honestly, after
And
he
if they
did
did, they
fall,
would have gotten just as hurt.
yeah.
Can we
After
talk about
he,
Angel Hernandez like double somersaulting over
Yeah.
the dugout to make the call?
yeah.
I actually thought he called a good game for Angel Hernandez standards. That's a good game.
I hope he isn't calling a playoff game. Do we know who the umpires are yet?
Speaking of bad umps, what's his
check.
name's retiring?
Who?
Hopefully it's
Oh my god, the really, really, really bad one.
The big fat one.
West.
Joe
Joe
West.
West.
Joe
West.
West. Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe West. He's retiring. Thank God.
He's gonna be the NL wild card.
No, he's
Joe
not.
West.
Yeah, played ump.
Oh yeah, Cardinals
they
are
couldn't
winning.
just get like
Look at this
someone
fucking
else,
guy, dude.
like
Oh
Little League
God.
umpires. Like who did the Little League World Series? Throw them in there.
Do you guys think that we should finally eat our words with Wade? Did he prove us wrong?
No.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Remember when we said on his roll call episode that I said that he would. I mean, truthfully, he did hit well all year. So I know that play,
Like 270.
the play that I'm referring to right now, he didn't hit. So like that play doesn't technically prove us wrong, but he got the winning run that saved our season home. He was a very important piece there, but he did hit all year. So now in hindsight, looking at the full year's worth of tape, did Tyler Wade prove us wrong? saying,
Yes.
for those of you that don't know the context behind this, in the roll call episodes, which we do individual player episodes about every player on the Yankees before, forecasting what they do, looking back at what they've done, yada, yada, yada. And we said that he would be great if he could hit because he does everything else right, but he can't and he won't, and it'll never happen. And he said, and he commented back to it and said, won't, all right, bet, just wait and see. So has he held up his end of the bargain there?
I think that he has played his role as well as anybody else on the Yankees.
That's the perfect way of putting it. Tyler Wade
job,
is not
Murph.
he's not a hitter. He's not anything crazy. If Tyler Wade has this role forever, where he's a pinch runner, defensive replacement, and if everybody on the team gets a pandemic illness, he comes in and fills in respectably, he's done his job. That's it. That is Tyler Wade's role. I don't want to see Tyler Wade as a starter. I don't want to see Tyler Wade getting consistent at bats. But if he does this role forever until he's Brett Gardner's age and can't run anymore, then I am perfectly okay with that. I think the 270 is a little inflated because he's had some bunt hits, some dinkers. I don't think he's a 270 hitter. I think if Tyler Wade comes in off the bench, steals bases, runs bases like he did the other day, and hits 220 in his limited, 45 plate appearances, that's fine. I just don't want to see Tyler Wade starting and getting meaningful starts where he's hitting multiple times a game.
Would you be upset if he was a starting shortstop tomorrow?
100. If Tyler Wade's a starting shortstop tomorrow, then I am a Baltimore Orioles fan.
That's aggressive.
I don't know that I'd be that upset.
I wouldn't be that
I
upset
would be
either.
irate. I would fly to Boston. I would drive my old Honda Accord to Boston and park it in the dugout to have a word with Mr. Aaron Boone, if that were the case.
I don't think it's that crazy.
You're the deciding vote, Murph.
It's not that crazy. The only reason that I wouldn't want it to happen is because, he's been filling this perfect role of throw him in late in the game, let him pinch run, let him be a defensive replacement, yada, 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 let him bunt if a bunting situation comes around where I don't necessarily want him in the starting lineup so that you can use him in different ways.
But Murph, what you just said out loud, you just said that he'd be a defensive replacement. He'd be able to steal bases when it matters at the end. He'd be able to bunt in a situation that it called for it. What if we just had that all game?
Well, no, I'm saying, yeah, but what if you have somebody coming up, you need him in a certain situation, you can plug him in to set.
You'd have him one out of every 9.
You play 6 different positions. Having a guy on your bench that's that much of a utility jackknife type thing. Overusing jackknife.
I'm waiting to pull that one out.
I would rather have Velasquez start.
No, so I'm fine with Velasquez starting. I think if Velasquez starts, that Wade comes in at some point for him.
Isn't Velasquez a switch hitter?
He is.
See, here's my whole thing with Wade, and I'm on Murphy's side here, actually. Having Tyler Wade to pinch run for a guy just for instance, in a playoff series, if Gary Sanchez were to somehow, by the grace of whatever God you believe in, get on base, and you have that in the 9th inning tie game, Gary Sanchez gets hit. He probably check swung and got hit by the pitch, and they somehow gave him the base, and he's on first. You pinch run Tyler Wade, and then that's a whole different ballgame, and then you have Higgy as a defensive replacement. If you start Tyler Wade and you're banking on his below average everything other than speed and fielding, then you don't have that option. You don't have that option off the bench. You see what I'm saying? Your pinch runner is Rougned Odor, or your pinch runner is
Velasquez. What? I don't understand what the problem is there. And then you can move Wade to the outfield if need be and put Velasquez in the field. I think it all works itself out in both scenarios.
But if Gio's healthy tomorrow, that's my whole point. If Gio's healthy enough to play, he's healthy enough to play shortstop. There's no if Gio's in the lineup tomorrow, he's playing shortstop. If Gio Urshela's at third, that's a disaster.
So of all the scenarios, you guys would the way I take it from what I'm hearing right now and what I'm thinking as well is that it's between Wade and Velasquez playing not Odor.
I think Odor's playing.
I think he's playing
agree.
too, but I think what we all want is one of the other two options. No,
If
No,
Wade
no,
played,
I
if
want
Wade
Odor
played
playing
third,
third.
I'd be okay with it, ish. His arm kind of sucks, but if he played third, I'd be okay with it. If Velasquez played short and Gio played third, I wouldn't love it, but I'd be okay with it.
No,
I
I
just-
think Wade's definitely riding the bench tomorrow, and I think that again, like he's too valuable off the bench in late game situations because of the fact that he can play outfield and infield and he's fast.
that's
I
the
thought it was
part
a
that
foregone
makes sense.
Conclusion that Odor is going to start at third. Like I
think it is too, but I was just saying-
of a debate.
I want.
Odor's done fine at third.
Agreed. I want Wade to start at shortstop tomorrow.
He's
I-
there's no. I think that's a waste.
So
I
you're
think that's a
saying
legit
Wade over
waste.
Gio at short.
What
I
are you gonna
just
do with
think-
Gio?
I think Gio plays third, and I think Odor is the pinch hit clutch bat off the
Why?
bench because Wade is going to play great defense. I've said all I need to say. That's just the way I feel. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change
I'm not
yours.
upset about that, but
I
I
am.
don't see it happening either.
Okay, I don't see it happening
I
either.
don't feel as
Tyler
strongly about
Wade,
this as
in
Chandler
his
clearly, but-
entire career as a New York Yankee, from whenever he first got put up there to the day that he retires or hits his way out of the league, he should never start a playoff game for the New York Yankees.
All right.
I do not care what Tyler Wade does. He should never start a game for the Yankees in the
I
playoffs.
can't wait till tomorrow when he starts.
He's not starting. It's a non-issue. And even if he was like with the his level of play, it doesn't warrant starting. He provides too much value off the bench. It's like a rare thing where he provides more value off the bench than he does starting, and that's just the fact. Like Damon said, you can bring him in the outfield, you can bring him in the infield, you can pitch run him, you can do whatever. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't provide enough offensively to start him.
It's a lefty.
defense.
Lefty versus Valdi. I know Velasquez is a switch hitter, but I think
Velasquez,
primary.
switch hitter, Odor's a lefty. Like,
All right, I'm just saying. Speaking of which, a team that was primarily righties, we're probably going to stack a lot of lefties tomorrow, which is a fun little twist.
we don't have a choice.
Just saying. We'll have at least 4 lefties. No, we'll have Rizzo,
Odor's hitting a bomb tomorrow.
Rizzo, Gallo, Odor, or Velasquez, or Wade. That's 3. Is Gardy going to play?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The
so it's
starting
4.
lineup tomorrow
So
is
it's
going to
split.
be
It's split. That's a pretty good split.
you have Gallo in left, Guardy in center, Judge in right, Rizzo, Glaber, Gio, Odor, Higgy, Cole, Stanton, DH. That's the lineup tomorrow. They're not going to mix it up.
I'm with you. I think that's going to be the lineup.
And that's
concur.
not me. That's not me advocating for it or against it. That's
Repeat
just
that one
what's
more
gonna
time.
happen.
Sorry.
You have right field Judge, center field Gardner, left field Gallo, third base Odor, shortstop Gio, second base Glaber, first base Rizzo, and then Cole Higgy.
That's
and
the
DH
same
Stanton.
as
What's the batting order? You think?
yesterday, right?
Batting order is going to be Glaber.
Yeah, Glaber's
Rizzo.
been leading off. I don't
Well,
know.
Yeah,
Judge
lead off, that's
Judge
fine.
said he's leading off, or not Judge. Boone said he's leading off today.
If Judge
too.
said it, I believe that.
well,
more
Boone
than
said
Boone.
it. So, Boone also said that DJ wasn't going on the IL, but
Yeah. That's why I said if Judge
It's
said
gonna
it, I believe it.
it's going to be Glaber, Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, Gallo. What's that?
Gio.
5.
Gio.
Probably Gardner because they want to get a lefty in there. Gardner, Gio,
Odor.
Higgy and Odor after that.
Odor, Higgy. Yep.
Dude, I think the guys
Or
that are gonna
Higgy
be
Odor.
I mean I see everybody doing well, but like I really think the Red Sox MO is gonna be not to pitch to Judge and Stanton, which I mean, why would you pitch to them? So like the guys who are gonna get pitches to see are gonna be like Higgy, Odor. Those guys are gonna see all the pitches to see. Like they're not gonna get any balls. I think they're gonna get only strikes to swing at because why would you waste pitches on guys like that?
The X
Gardner-
factor to me is Glaber and Rizzo.
Gardner might see 30 pitches tomorrow.
I think so too.
And like that's not
Yeah.
even that outrageous.
That's gonna
of a
happen.
number.
In 2
Like,
at
that, like
bats.
say that's if he has 3 at bats, that's 10 at bat. That's not that
That's
great.
his average, I think. No, I'm not kidding. I think that's his average per at bat. It's like 10.
I really, really doubt that. But either way,
Close enough.
the X factor of this game is going to be what Glaber and Rizzo do. before Judge and Stan, because if they get on
Yeah.
and you don't have an option, then you have to throw to them, and then you let the big guys go and do their thing. If they don't, then you can pitch around them, and then you do whatever. But
I think
that
Rizzo.
what
I think Rizzo has. I think Rizzo. My final line for Rizzo, he's gonna have at least gonna have a home run. He's gonna have another big single. He's gonna have an early home run. This is bold prediction time. Rizzo has an early home run off of Valdi to get him a little bit frazzled, dazzled.
That's the key of the game, is getting Valdi out early.
It's gonna be a solo shot though, and then Rizzo's gonna hit the nail in the coffin, late RBI single.
I think Glaber is going to hit
And Odor, not Odor, and Wade is gonna be on base when he hits it.
That'd be awesome.
I think Glaber's going to play a big role tomorrow. I think Glaber leads. If Glaber sets the tone, I'm going leadoff walk, bloop single, bomb for Judge, 3-0 Yankees.
Wouldn't hate that.
If Judge hits another home run in the first inning of a wild card game or in a wild card game, does he go down as the best wild card player ever?
The wild card hasn't been around for very long, so I think there's a short list, and he's on it. I think he's already probably the top of the list. No,
I feel like we gotta stop talking about this stuff. We're just talking about all the good things that could
Murphy,
happen.
we're all reeling here, okay? We're scared, and we're just talking.
This could be the last regular season episode of this last episode of this podcast. So,
whoa.
No, that's why we're talking a lot. We're having fun. It's a 2-hour long episode. We haven't even gotten to the preview episode, which is another hour if you're at this point in the podcast. We really got it all out there. We just there's a lot to talk about. One thing before we kick it over to the series preview with our pal BJ from Action Network, just from that celebration picture, I completely forgot Tim LeCastro was on this team, and Aaron Hicks too, by the way.
Aaron Hicks is looking pudgy.
He always was.
No, and he's been pudgy, but I saw him in the dugout the other day. My man's looking like a blimp. Somebody was eating a little too many fucking.
He was like that coming into the season this year. We said that on his roll call. We said he looked a little fat.
Did you see him in the dugout though?
He hasn't been doing anything.
He went from like a little bit like of muscular plump to me. Like I've been eating Doritos and watching sports for 14 hours a day. I don't even think he watches sports.
And you're looking great.
You know what? You're so right.
Anybody else have any bold predictions before we kick it over to the series preview? Damon, you said you had a good one.
Did I?
No.
I feel like I definitely like mentioned it throughout the whole episode. I've been talking for
mine.
2 hours. I kind of forget.
All right. So without further ado, let's kick it over to the series preview with BJ. It's a lot of fun. We talked a lot about the deep dive on the pitching matchups and Evaldi versus the Yankees, etc., stuff like that. It's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of tidbits that we find out about the inner workings of what the Red Sox have been going through in the past couple in this year and how their season has gone. So enjoy that. We will catch you guys after the wild card. We'll do an episode either in the morning or at night. At night would probably be pretty late, so it might be the morning.
If they win, we'll do it night of.
If we win, we'll do night of. Morning.
That'd be a sloppy episode, and I'm down.
Yeah.
There he is.
There
he
boys,
is.
You know my boys like them sloppy. So all right.